Hi guys, I'm back. Thank you so much for visiting my channel again, and thank you for your patience and waiting for another update on my journey with chronic and mold illness. I am happy to report that I have some good news and I've been doing a lot better, and I have some great information to share with you. So I'm just here on a nice sunny afternoon in Southern California. I'm having a dragon fruit, papaya, pineapple, coconut water smoothie. It's really good and it's pretty, so win-win. But I know I told you I would probably do an update a lot sooner, and I'm kind of glad I didn't. And thank you for those of you that reached out to me in email. Like, I've really enjoyed talking to you and hearing about your experiences. I'm so sorry that you're sick or were sick and have been going through this as well. It's not anything I would ever wish on anybody. It's been a ride, but it's comforting, because it's hard for people to understand, since it's not like this well-known disease out there like cancer or anything that's kind of piques people's like natural empathy gene. Like, they just kind of hear it and they just like, it's dismissed by doctors. So trying to just even get like family members or people to understand you, I know it can be really hard. So, thank you for reaching out. I really hope you're doing well. And I'm sorry, because I probably told some of you in the update that I was going to be doing, or I told you in the email that I was going to be doing an update sooner, but here we are. So I'm kind of glad, that I waited, because I wanted to give the program I was doing time is in regards to brain training. And also, I didn't start working with my integrative medical doctor until March of this year of 2022. So I've given that like plenty of time too. And I just want to say that this isn't a video like about one magic bullet or one big like thing. It wasn't like one pill, one supplement. Like, it's nothing like that. So I just don't want to get people's hopes up. Like, it's going to take some work to get better. But once you do start to see like the progress that you're making, and even if it happens slowly, some people it happens quickly, like, it's just dependent on you. So I don't want to put any thoughts into your head about like, oh, if I start doing this, it's going to take months for me to get better. No. When I started doing DNRS, I saw shifts right away for sure. I probably would say within like the first few weeks I saw shifts. Then after about 6 months, I was much better, but I was still having some of the GI symptoms. Those have been kind of the last thing to go, is like just still working on like a few food sensitivities and bloating. Like, that's just kind of my major thing right now. It's just still like my stomach is just not back to where it was before, but I've made huge progress to where I'm like eating things I hadn't eaten in like a year and a half. I'm eating out at restaurants, and I'm like not thinking about what's in the food and the ingredients and all that. So there's definitely been like a switch that flipped in my brain. And this new program that I've been doing, it's called Primal Trust. So I switched from DNRS to something called Primal Trust in the last like, I think 5 weeks I've been doing it now. And it's been a game changer, and I'm gonna tell you why. So Kathleen King is the doctor that started Primal Trust, and she actually was a graduate of DNRS, and it did work for her. But what she found was that because it was more of a top-down approach, meaning it was using just a lot of brain and mental things to try and calm the overreaction and nervous system and symptoms in your body, that people kind of get stuck in this loop of like constantly having to like retrain their brain, and they never either fully heal, or they do, but then they find something else in their life to kind of replace the illness. So like, their symptoms might go away and their health might return, but then they start having like relationship problems or career problems or something like that. So it's like, this program is not, why I like it is it's not just so health focused and from a brain perspective. It is focusing on your body and your brain and just your whole life overall. So you're not just working towards you're not focusing, fix this symptom, fix this, fix my body all the time. Like, what you're doing is working on creating a life full of joy and purpose. And so I want to say too that not only have I seen a huge shift in just my physical health, but like my mental health, and just feeling happier and lighter, and just like things that used to bother me just don't bother me anymore. Which is a huge success in my eyes, because that shows that it really is working. Like what makes somebody else get all riled up and mad, you kind of just stay calm and you're just like, so like, you know, there's bigger problems in this world. Like you've been through mold illness, like, you know what's out there, and what you've had to deal with. So it's kind of like this program makes you find like purpose and joy in your life, and it takes all aspects, including spiritual, mental, and physical, into account. And so that really resonated with me. So I understand that like different things will work for different people, but I just feel like this program is something that probably could work for anyone, even if you're not physically ill. It's just something that, you know, even if you just have anxiety or depression, or you're just like, you feel stuck in life or something. And I think that was kind of my problem too, is like, I just felt stuck. Like I didn't really know where I wanted to go next or why. And I know that can often be correlated with like SIBO, or what I probably had, which they call SIFO, which is a fungal infection in your intestines. But yeah, I mean, I've read that in a lot of literature, that feeling of being stuck can be held kind of in your solar plexus and your gut. And so that could have attributed, you know, in combination with everything else that was going on in my life, and being in a moldy apartment created this like perfect storm in my body. So yeah, Primal Trust, I 100% would recommend this program if you can afford it. And I do really think that the game changer was, you know, stop focusing so much on like fixing myself, but let's work on just overall life goals, and also bringing in somatic practices. So that's why I think that this was really great for me, and has worked well probably for a lot of other people too, is because the bottom up approach is signaling safety to your body. So it's a highway, you know, your brain going down to your physical, and then like for me, my gut, and then my gut sending signals back up to my brain. So somatic practices, meaning things like EFT, emotional freedom technique, which is like the tapping, just giving yourself like soothing body sensations like before you eat a certain food, the 5 Tibetan rites, or like yoga, dance, like anything like that where you can actually bring in movement in your body into brain retraining, is really going to help regulate your nervous system. I've also read quite a few books during this period of time too, and just continue to do research, not in like an obsessive way, because that's against brain training, but not researching symptoms, but just really interested in like how the body and brain, and the correlation between you know, our bodies as a system and everything working together. And I really love Dr. John Sarno's book too, and Kathleen King kind of brings in some of his work. And so this is another great thing about the program, is I feel like she's using like an all-encompassing from what a lot of people I've discovered along this path teach, and she sort of put it onto one program. So I feel like the universe placed this program into my life just at the right time, when I was like ready to hear all of this, and it made a lot of sense, because she also is a big fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza, which I also used a lot of his meditations along the way, and big fan of his, and just what he teaches and what he believes. And so she's she's really into just bringing in like people who are spiritual, doctors who understand you know, the emotional connection to physical, like Dr. John Sarno. And that's kind of where she got her, you know, like, stop trying to fix it, I believe, is like, she's the person that, you know, is like, you know, going around like constantly focusing on your symptoms and trying to fix yourself is not going to make anything better. You know, you kind of have to focus on what you do want. So just like law of attraction in its finest form, but for health and healing. And it's true. I mean, as soon as I read Dr. Sarno's book, and also I believe it's Steve Ozonovich, I don't know if I'm like brutalizing his name, but I'll link their books down below that I read, because they're really interesting, and I believe it would help anybody along this path, or anyone dealing with chronic symptoms, no matter what they are. because it really does tell you like nothing's wrong with you. Like, you're not broken, and the more you're trying to fix your symptoms and stressing out about your body, the more you're signaling to your body that you're not safe and that you're ill. And so it kind of works both ways. So I found that so helpful. Like, once I dropped the fear of like waking up and like, oh, what symptoms am I gonna have tomorrow? Like, what am I gonna eat? Obsessing about what I'm gonna eat. As soon as I stopped that, that's when things really started to change and I started to get better. It's just to not keep ruminating about these things, because it's really just gonna get this loop, this circle going, where you're scared of foods, and then you can't eat anything, and then you're mad because you can't eat anything. So it's just really not helpful. And you know, this is like incremental training too. So it's not really telling you just go and eat a whole pizza, you know, and then go into a major flare of symptoms. It's not that either. It's introducing it slowly. You know, even if you have like chronic fatigue, which that's what Kathleen King had, the creator of Primal Trust. She said, you know, I couldn't even get out of bed, but I started to do little tiny movements and exercise in my bed every day, as much as I could do. So just like anything, it's just small, consistent things over a period of time that's gonna get you the big results in the end. And then another thing I wanted to touch on too was, I do believe like some of the supplements and the medication that my doctor prescribed probably is helpful now, because I started taking it again after I started the Primal Trust program, because I just don't feel like before my body was detoxing well and my nervous system was still so dysregulated and just thinking everything was a threat, whether it was a supplement, just like something normal and healthy that like anyone without chronic illness could take and be fine. But to me, it was still like my body just did not want that. So I had to start with this, kind of just work my way up in this program. And then I was like, okay, let's try like the meds and the supplements again. And so far I've been good. Like, I haven't had any bad reaction, and I feel like it's actually working this time to like detox things out of my body. So my advice to anybody would be with a chronic illness, or pretty much any kind of illness, I feel like stems from a dysregulated nervous system. This is my opinion. This is based on my research and my personal experience. But when your nervous system is in overdrive, which is fight, flight, freeze, or fawn is the fourth one, it can't do what it needs to do to keep you healthy. It thinks it's protecting you, right? Because it's trying to be in that fight state or that freeze state where it feels like it's going to protect you from whatever is happening in your environment, whether it's like chemical sensitivity, allergies, like just, you know, typical seasonal allergies. These are all overreaction of immune responses. And so I know this is what was going on with me. It's like there was no more like serious, I don't think, infection in my body. I feel like a lot of the mold had detoxed out of my body, especially after I had gotten out of the apartment, but yet my limbic system and my nervous system was stuck in this place where it still thought everything was a threat and it was still trying to protect me. And I had to really work on how I handle stress, how I express emotions, you know, what path I'm gonna go down in life, like why was I feeling stuck? Like, these were all like things I needed to address because I know it played a role in me getting sick. And a lot of people, excluding me, were not ready to hear that at a certain point in our healing journey. We just want the pill, we want the supplement. We're like, no, this is physical. I was living in mold. That's what made me sick. Yes, it played a role. And yes, if I hadn't been living in a moldy apartment during this phase of my life, would I have gotten as sick? Maybe not. But the fact is I did, and it was, you know, the universe or God or whatever you believe in trying to tell me that things need to change. So as soon as I was willing to accept that, I was able to get into brain training, and I was ready to hear the information from brain training and accept that this was what was wrong with me. And that is a big part of it too, is you really have to be ready and willing to accept it and let go of the fact that the supplements and the medication, everything is going to just be the end all be all and fix all your problems. Yes, it may help, okay? I'm not saying I'm anti-supplement, anti-med. I believe things have their place, and I believe that things can help, and there's a time and place for prescription medications. And even my integrative doctor, who knew that I was in a brain retraining program, which was DNRS at the time when I had my first meeting with him, said good. Like, he knew about it, he's familiar, he said recommended it, it was part of the prescription, it was part of my treatment plan, as well as vagus nerve exercises. And that's also will be talked about in the Primal Trust Academy. But if you want to read about it on your own, there's tons of vagus nerve exercises on YouTube, and there's a really good book by Stanley Rosenberg called The Healing Power of the Vagus Nerve. So those are good resources, but it's definitely something that's important to understand, because that's really a big part of what plays a role in our whole system and our healing process. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything else to say in this video. I don't want to make it too long, but I do want to continue to make like videos along the way, like maybe even do some sort of like vlog lifestyle thing, including like what I eat, you know, just things that are incremental in my healing every day. I also want to put my email again in the box below, so if anyone has any questions or wants to just like tell me their story, I'm totally open. I respond to everybody, so I'll go ahead and put my email in there. And then also I'm considering even doing like a coaching kind of service. Like, I know a lot of these programs can be super expensive, and it's hard for people to go at their own pace sometimes. Like, sometimes you just need that person to be there, like kind of guiding you along the way, or it's just easier to have someone to talk through it. I totally get that. So I don't know, I haven't really like set anything up yet, but you know, I'm willing to like work out price-wise with anybody, like a coaching situation where we can meet like once or a few times a week, whatever would be best for you, whether it's via Zoom or you'd feel more comfortable over like a phone call, and I can teach you what I've learned in this last like year and a half, I guess, and how it's helped me. Because I really think if this had been introduced in my life, even when I was living in mold, the brain retraining and nervous system reset, I do feel like I would have not only healed a lot faster, but I still could have started to heal even while I was living in that moldy apartment. I honestly do feel that way. Not that I'm recommending that to anybody, like, please, like, be in, you know, a least toxic environment as you can. You want to breathe clean air as much as possible, but I do feel like there's a reason why some of us get sick and some of us don't, and I just think it has a lot to do with our nervous system, how it's regulated or not regulated, and you know, there's a reason everything happens, and I do feel a lot happier than I did 2 years ago in the place that I was in, even like 3 or 4 years ago, I would say. So, you know, not that I'm glad I got sick, because it's just like, not, I can't even say that and keep like a straight face. I'm not glad I got sick, but I think there was a reason for it, and I've appreciated everything that I've learned and really tried to understand why did this happen for me and not to me. So, you know, taking the right attitude when you go towards this journey as well to heal your body is super important. So thank you guys so much. Like, if you could like and then subscribe to my channel if you're interested in going along the journey with me, I would really appreciate it. And each and every one of you, I hope that, you know, you're in a place where you feel hope, and just know that you will get better. All right, take care. Bye.